Had the first chance to meet with the team this morning. Thought it went well. Great to see guys and meet people. Just try to let them know what I'm about, what my expectations are, what they can expect of me, and thought that went really well. Look, I got to earn their trust. There's no doubt about that. I'm not trying to diminish how important that is. That's going to take time. That's not going to happen in one meeting. So, but I felt like it went well. Looking forward at my expectations for them. Solid week of practice. Let's get after it. I thought the walkthrough was really crisp on both sides, and that's kind of where we sit. Trying to think of anything else I need to touch on. Parks Frazier will be the play caller. Just put that out there. I think it was leaked about 10 minutes after I had the conversation. So you guys are good. Appreciate that. And listen, we have a number of really good coaches on this staff. I'm excited to work with each and every one of them. I made the decision based on where the coaches were and trying to move as few pieces and parts as I could. And with Parks being the floater, he's been here the longest. I think he's been here since 2018. He knows the offense extremely well. We've had two guys on the staff who have called plays, being Scotty Montgomery and Scott Milanovich. So both of those guys, they're going to be heavily involved. We're all going to be heavily involved in trying to help Parks, put together the best game plan we can, and got full confidence he's going to do the right thing, put us in the right plays, and ultimately players got to go execute them and go make it happen. So that's where that is. And then Ashton Doolin, he's been designated a return to practice this week.
Jeff, what have the last 48 hours been like? Give us a tick-tock of what you've been doing the last 48 hours to catch up.
Meetings. I mean, I can't tell you how many meetings. I feel like every time I stand up and go to the door to say goodbye to somebody, I have someone else walking in. Learned a lot about new apps on my phone and on the tablet that getting accustomed to. I mean, just the typical day of getting to know people, getting to know the staff, meeting with both staffs, all three phases, and trying to formulate the best way that I can help and support them. I told them this morning, man, I don't pretend to be the smartest guy in the room. My job here is to support that staff to make our players be the best. And whatever I can do, whatever I'm asked to do, I'm glad to help. What can I do to take something off of you to make you the best coach you can be? And I've done that in everything I've ever done in my life. I'm not, that's no different. So from my role, these guys know that's my focus for players, for coaches, for the staff in general. What can I do to alleviate as much pressure as possible? I can take all the shots, and hopefully they can do their jobs freely and few as distractions as possible, and let them go play good football.
Hey, Jeff, so much of a player.
Jeff. My name's Greg Doyle. Nice to meet you. I'm with Indy Star.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. I want to ask two questions, so please, nobody barging up this first one. Where did you watch the Ring of Honor ceremony from? Or where did you spend that game, the Ring of Honor game?
I spent the Ring of Honor. I was down on the field. Oh, you mean how we started the day? I was working for ESPN. I can tell you my whole day. I started early in a suite upstairs watching Red Zone because I had to work the next day.
What suite?
Tarek suite.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were up there. We were all going to come together and hang, and then there were, I don't know how many guys, 5 or 6 dudes, Peyton, Edge, Free, Marv, Bill. On the way down to go see Tarek, we went into Jim's suite, said hello, and met he and everybody who was in his suite, kind of shook hands, and then we all made way down to the field, and then at halftime I left to go to work.
Okay.
Or right after halftime I left to go to work.
My follow-up is this. You said the other day that this all came together in about 12 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say this other than I find that very hard to believe. And I'm wondering, you were in town that week.
Yeah.
This didn't come up?
No.
You're advising her say?
Look at me. Did not come up.
Okay.
Not once.
Okay.
Yep.
So
I speak, I'm going to tell you how it is, right? Like, you're going to ask me a question, I'm going to tell you straight up. Not once. My first call was Irsay during the game Sunday.
Let's walk through that. So you were stunned, you said.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't take this job, and you explained a little bit on Sunday night or Monday night why you did.
Yeah.
Why are you here? Why take the job?
Because I care. Right, and I told the guys this morning, I care about the players, I care about their families. I've sat in their seat, man. This sucks, right? I like Frank. I've talked to Frank, or we've texted. I love Frank, man. I was working with Frank, right? So I'm working with him every week, talking to him. I consider Frank a friend, and I love him. I think he's a heck of a football coach. I got no control over how that, so I understand from their perspective. I've sat in that seat. They love Frank, man. That's their coach. I mean, they played for this dude. So I don't minimize that at all. I care about the staff and their families. These guys work hard. They sacrifice for their families. They sacrifice time, energy, and effort. Like, I know equipment room, man. I know media relations. I know training room. Like, you guys act like these are my people, bro. Like, my adult life was forged here. Right? Like, my wife and I we raised our kids here. Like, these people matter to me. This organization matters to me, right? The people in the community matter to me. I mean, everybody thinks this is like flippant. This is not. Like, I care whatever I can do. And when he said, hey, can you help me? Absolutely, I'll help. If somebody called and said, hey, this is an opportunity to say, for the people who are in this room and in this building, would you do it? Absolutely, I'm going to do it, right? And I had to make sure my wife was on board. She and I talked about it, prayed about it. I called him back and I said, let's do it, right? And that was at, just for great, that was at 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, Ursay carries different hours than me, right? He's a lot later. But it was like 1 or something where you consider it. And I said, hey, my wife and I, and then he and Chris talked and had a conversation and did whatever. But I had no idea how it was going to flow through. Just didn't know. And it was a whirlwind, man. And is what it is now. I'm here and trying to beat Las Vegas. I mean, that's the focus at this point.
So that's why you did do it, and obviously you and your wife had to talk things out from a family perspective. Did you have any trepidation on the other end, like, okay, why you would not maybe want to do this? You're in a tough spot, let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you had a parachute in here, so
Yeah.
was there any of that?
No, I got big shoulders. I knew the bullets I'm going to take. I'm good with it, right? Like, and I'll address. I know the question I'm sure is going to get asked, but the Rooney Rule. I'll be honest with you, it's an important rule. I do not diminish it 1 second, right? I believe and understand fully why it is as important as it is, right? I don't minimize. I mean, this is important. My role here is for 8 games. When this is over, they will do an exhaustive search and pick whoever their best candidate is to be the head coach of the Colts. If I'm considered, I'd be honored. I have no idea where this thing is going to go, not even a little bit. And I'm not, but I can assure you that's going to be handled. That from the organization's perspective, from my perspective as a man, like I'm good. And here's the deal. Everybody talks about I'm completely comfortable in who I am as a man, bro. I know I can lead men. I know the game of football, and I'm passionate about it. I have no fear about, are you as qualified as somebody else? Bro, I spent 14 years in the locker room. I went to the playoffs 12 times. I got 5 dudes in the Hall of Fame that I play with. You don't think I've seen greatness? You don't think I've seen how people prepare, how they coach, how they GM, how they work? I mean, won Super Bowls, been to 2. Like, here's the deal, man. None of us are promised a good job. I may be terrible at this. And after 8 games, I'll say, God bless you. I am no good. I may be really good at it. I got no idea. But I dang sure ain't going to back down. I can tell you that. I mean, listen, if life ain't an adventure, it ain't for nothing. It ain't for me. I'm ready to go do this. I take a challenge head on. And I know. And listen, everybody can say whatever they want. And I appreciate that. But from my perspective, when I was asked, they said, hey, we're following every rule. At the end of the season, you aren't promised anything. Perfect. Let's go with that, and I'll move forward. I have no fear if I'm no good. And Mr. Ursay looks at me and goes, hey, we appreciate you. Thanks for stepping in. Man, job well done. I'm grateful for the opportunity.
When I know of you, I bet you talk to the players the same way. Were you this way with them? Were you
100%.
straightforward and honest?
It's me, dude. Yeah. Ain't going to change. And I told them, if I'm not authentic, bro, we got nowhere to go. But it's who I am.
Jeff, you said the other night, you said that you got the call from on Ursay time, midnight, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So then you guys talk about it, pray about it, sleep on it. So then he called you back at 9, 10. When did you say yes?
Man, 9, maybe 9. No, maybe it may have been even later than that. It was whenever they called me and told me they were going to have a meeting with Frank, and I can't remember if that's 10. Whatever, because they said we're going to pull him in, and that was not. I don't know when Chris and Jim decided to do that. I don't know the exact, but it was. I knew right before he was going to go in.
One of the things again, as a player, a creature of habit, you like routine.
Sure.
And you're gonna try to put your stamp, not try, you're gonna put your stamp on this team somehow. Will most of the functioning of the team be what it's been?
Yes.
Practice, meetings, all that, I mean.
So I've made minor adjustments, different stuff in practice that just I would prefer order, but however that looks, I've made it very clear, like roles and responsibilities from our offensive staff. We're understaffed. Like, let's be real. We've had the two guys that called our plays, the OC and the head, all gone. Like, that's a big deal. Like, I hope people understand the weight of what that is. Now you've reduced the people and increased the workload, and you bring a guy in that is not familiar with all the nomenclature, all the stuff that goes into real ball. So I'm playing catch up at the same time. So, man, it's a tall task at head, and but again, we're going to put this thing together step by step. But these guys are good football coaches. They understand that they are very bright people that know their roles, and everyone to a man has stepped up and then some. Can I stay late? What else can I do? What other box can we check together? Can I help? When I told the offense the Parks are going to do this, I think it was Reggie slapped the table. Let's go. Got excited, right? What can we do to help? Like the energy and the excitement for these guys. These guys like each other. They treasure each other, and they're helping each other. That's been huge for me just to watch that.
The other night, Jim mentioned a few times about numbers and analytics and whatnot. I know this could change over the weeks, but come Sunday, the decision to go for it on 4th and 1 or kicker, field goal, or punt, is that going to be your decision to make?
Yeah, that's my decision. Yeah. Listen, I'm a O lineman, bro. I work awfully hard to get points. I'm gonna take points. I'm not. I am not a. It's a hard living. It's a hard living in there, man. So we'll see what happens. They have. I have two guys I'm going to be working with in the box from the analytics side. We haven't had a chance to meet, but looking forward to getting with these guys. And the good thing for me is I get to watch a lot of football and criticize a lot of coaches. So I know I'm going to get that same criticism again. Part of the gig, right? Part of the gig.
Jeff, on
Sorry,
staff,
what do you think he meant? What do you think he meant when he said that analytics makes coaches afraid?
I don't even know what you're talking about. I mean, who was he?
Ursay on Monday said coaches
I
are
don't know.
afraid and analytics that was together. Okay.
I'm not
Do you
sure.
feel like
Jeff,
the
on that
whirlwind
stuff-
of this week, you're not going to get enough time to actually coach football? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's been a challenge so far. You want to hear the crazy part? We've only had one walkthrough. So we hadn't even started practice. So like all this is happening. I just finished my first walkthrough with the team. So everything's the first today. Your first team meeting So again, we got a lot left. Like for me, the best thing is to get on the grass. Like I can't tell you how excited I am to actually go do football. But I've got notes from this walkthrough this morning, and so now we'll get into the actual coaching and those things. But again, I'm encouraging my staff to take ownership, push forward, and hey man, let your voice be heard. Like I'm not critical. I'm open ears and open minded. Let's work together.
You just came in.
No.
Jeff, on that staff point, besides Parks, any other staff changes of guys, elevated roles, or anybody you're bringing in outside the building?
No, nothing. Yeah.
To let Gus and Bubba do what they've been doing.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. And I hope they do it as well as they've been doing it. Golly, that's a lean on. Like, come on, man. Come on, Gus. Come on, Bubba. Make this thing happen. Help me look really good.
Will you have more O-line influence?
Not right now. I will. It's my passion. So I'm obviously going to speak. And I have been working with Strauss. So yeah, we'll have conversation. But he and Kev and that group, they're doing good. And Clayton at tight ends, those guys have a good relationship, and we're just trying to find a blend, right? My principles and thought process, so we're having all those conversations now.
What's your take on the talent level here, Jeff, of good players? You talk about the coaches. What have you seen in the quick synopsis of this and what this team can actually do?
Yeah, and I believe in them. Right, I believe this is a good football team, man. They've played in some games where they haven't played their best. The players have to step up and make plays. The talent is definitely there. Like these guys have it. Can't beat ourselves. Made a lot of mistakes, right? And the biggest point of emphasis on offense. Don't turn the ball over, right? Like that pigskin controls 53 of you and a whole lot of others' livelihoods. That thing's got to stay with us. On the other side, get that thing out, right? Like, I mean, it's fairly simple, but that was the main message is we can't beat ourselves. We have to play consistent football, be disciplined, be tough, be fast, be physical, all the things that I believe in as a man and as a football player, just breathing that into them. And then the expectations is we execute. And execute means that we do what we're coached to do. Ain't no ad-lib. You can't fix problems if we ad-lib, right? So we do what we're asked to do so we're all on one page and we can make corrections when needed. And hopefully that formula wins.
Last name, James Boyd, last one.
Jeff, can you clarify something? You said that Irsay called you during the Sunday's game?
Yeah.
So to gauge your interest? Our Frank coach was still the head coach of this team. He called you to gauge interest?
He was just upset. He was asking me what was going on. This was not about Frank. He was asking about what's going on. They had given a bunch of sacks. I was not watching that game. So I was preparing to go to work. So I was watching all my other games. I actually watched the Colts at 7. So like my schedule for working for ESPN. So this was not a conversation about Frank. This was what the H is going on with our protection. I think they'd given up. No, nothing to do with job. This was 100% what's happened to our O-line, and that's the role that I had been doing with Strauss and Frank. But I asked her, I don't even know what's going on, so I had can't help if I can't see it. So just part of being outside that network, and doing another gig.